Is Gear 5th an ASSPULL? This has been an ongoing debate since Gear 5th was first introduced 3 years ago, but the answer is a little bit more nuanced than a simple yes or no. What this debate really boils down to is idea versus execution. It seems pretty clear to me that Oda already had the concept of Gear 5th in mind years before it debuted in the Wano arc. The sun symbolism and the idea that Luffy is the embodiment of freedom has appeared ever since the beginning of the story. Luffy's Toon Force-like powers in Gear 5th likely stem from Oda's original idea, being that Luffy is a more cartoonish Popeye-like character, but Oda decided to tone it down at the start and have this be the final form that Luffy would progress throughout the series. So if the question is whether Oda conceptualized Gear 5th before Wano, then the answer is most likely yes. But concepts don't determine the quality of a story, execution does. Panels depicting Luffy's connection to the sun and laughter foreshadow the idea of Gear 5th, but that isn't the same as establishing its mechanics in the story. Namely the fact that Gear 5th is the awakened form of a Zoan Devil Fruit. The worst part about Gear 5th is the retcon of Luffy's fruit to be a mythical Zoan instead of a Paramecia, even though that goes against everything we know about how Luffy's powers function and how Zoan fruits function. We know that Zoans typically have 3 forms and they have to transform to use their powers, but before he's awakened, Luffy's only shown to have one form in which he's always rubbery. And some people try to reconcile this by saying his gears are his hybrid forms, but every other Zoan that we see has their hybrid form from the start. So by believing this, you're proving that the Nika retcon undermines the creativity and hard work that Luffy used to gain his power. Now the problem with Devil Fruit Awakenings in general is that there isn't any clear requirements for somebody to awaken their fruit. Every explanation is either way too vague or has a counterexample that disproves it. Like the whole mind and body catching up to your fruit thing would be cool if Luffy actually had a character arc to get Gear 5th. Like people gave Bonnie turning into Gear 5th a lot of flack, some of it which is deserved, but at least Bonnie had a character arc throughout Egghead in order to get that form. Like Luffy literally has a death and rebirth, the part of the hero's journey that symbolizes character change, and he had no character development from it. It was actually for Kaido's character, not him. And Luffy just wakes up the very next chapter like nothing happened. To this day, I've yet to hear a good reason why Kaku was awakened and Kaido wasn't. And the fanbase doesn't even agree whether Kaido was awakened or not in the first place. Defeating Kaido was not only the goal and climax of Wano, the longest arc in the entire series, but the entire New World story since Punk Hazard. So the fact that half of the entire story's build-up was resolved by 2 plot mechanics that are barely explained and understood by the audience is the definition of bad writing. So while I don't think Gear 5th is an ASSPULL when it comes to its concept and its themes, it undoubtedly is when it comes to the execution of it.